Hi, everybody. Well, we're at our first lesson of the American Dream, our first guidebook unit. And this lesson is focusing on summarizing a literary text. Today, we will be reading an excerpt from chapter 9 of The Great Gatsby. This is our novel study for the first 9 weeks. So, what we're going to do first, you're going to follow along with me as I read the excerpt from chapter 9 of The Great Gatsby. As you read, jot a summary of each paragraph in the right margin. So, to the right, you can actually type out a summary of each of the paragraphs. So, I'm going to show you how to open this document, this PDF document, using Cami. Okay, so that's going to be our first step. And then from there, we're going to go into reading and annotating our text. Last thing we're going to do for annotation, though, is that we will circle any unfamiliar words. So let's get started. So first, we're going to open the document, the PDF document with Cami. So if you've opened it from your assignment on Google Classroom for lesson 1, you'll open this PDF, the excerpt for chapter 9. You'll open with and annotate with Cami. So it'll take a minute to populate. It's still thinking. Give it a little bit of time. Okay, so your document has generated. One thing that you will need to do to make sure you make your own copy, when you open the PDF in Cami, you will need to make a copy and save to Google Drive. All of your work and annotations will save to Google Drive. So you can click anywhere on the document, and then a box should pop up to say, make a copy and save to Drive. When you're annotating and working on the PDF, you have a little save button here. And if you click on it, you can click Save Now, and it syncs to Google Drive. So your little Google Drive icon is right here. So when you first open it, click on the document and then make a copy and save to Drive. Now, for annotation, you have a couple of tools here. You have a markup box with a highlighter. So if I were to mark up my text, or highlight anything important in my text, I can select a highlighter color, and then I can go in and highlight what I need here. Okay. You have an eraser, and I can go back and erase what I did there. You have a text box. So for your text box, you would click over on your screen. You can fit the text box to your lines. You can adjust your font size. So I can go to maybe 14, and then I can start typing. So you can fit it to make your lines to fit on your lines. So I can start here and then start typing into my PDF. Okay. So that's what you're to do. Okay. So I'm going to X out of here, or I'm going to backspace. Okay. So these are some of your basic functions. You have your select pointer that'll let you scroll down into the PDF. Okay. So looks like it's only a 1-page document here. Okay. So it's 3 paragraphs. Okay. So we have all of our functions. That's the bell. We're at school, so it's just like a normal school day. So you might hear slight interruptions during our videos. Just ignore it. All right. So you have all the basic functions of Cami. Okay. Make sure, again, you make a copy, save to Drive. And when you're working on annotations, click your little disc up here to click Save. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. What I want you to do, we're writing a summary. We're looking for some central ideas. We're looking really at unfamiliar vocabulary words. One of your tasks will be to circle any unfamiliar words that you see in here. And I'll be annotating, I'll be highlighting as I'm reading our text. So I want you to do that as well when I'm reading the excerpt here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, paragraph one, you should at this point have your annotation highlighter up, looking to mark any unfamiliar words in the paragraph. I spent my Saturday nights in New York because those gleaming, dazzling parties of his were with me so vividly that I could still hear the music and the laughter faint and incessant from his garden and the cars going up and down his drive. One night, I did hear a material car there and saw its lights stop at his front steps, but I didn't investigate. Probably it was some final guest who had been away at the ends of the earth and didn't know that the party was over. So, for this first paragraph, I see the word incessant, so I would probably go ahead and highlight it. Maybe gleaming is a word that's unfamiliar to us. And then I don't know, I don't see anything. Maybe faint. Faint may be a word that we may need to become familiar with. Okay. So these are some of the words that might not have sounded so familiar, and I might need to go look those up for context. And remember, you're reading with purpose, so read with context. Okay. Then we're going to continue. On the last night, with my truck, packed and my car sold to the grocer, I went over and looked at that huge, incoherent failure of a house once more. On the white steps of an obscene word, scrawled by some boy with a piece of brick, stood out clearly in the moonlight, and I erased it, drawing my shoe raspingly along the stone. Then I wandered down to the beach and sprawled out on the sand. So I'm going to go again, mark up my unfamiliar words. Okay, so I see the word incoherent. I see the word obscene. I see the word scrawled. And I see maybe raspingly. That might be one word that we're not too familiar with. So we're marking these words up because we're going to go in later and fill out a vocabulary log of these words and to see what they mean in context. So make sure you're marking as we're going along. Okay, great job, everybody. Pause for a minute and go ahead and highlight these words. Okay, moving on. Last paragraph. Most of the big shore places were closed now, and there were hardly any lights except the shadowy, moving glow of a ferry boat across the sound. And as the moon rose higher, the inessential houses began to melt away until gradually I became aware of the old island here that flowered once for Dutch sailors, eyes afresh, green breasts of the New World. Advantaged trees, the trees that had made way for his house, had once pondered to whispers to the last and greatest of all human dreams. For a transitory, enchanted moment, man must have held his breath in the presence of a continent, compelled into an aesthetic contemplation he neither understood nor desired, face to face for the last time in history with something commensurate to the capacity for wonder. So we're going to go back. We're going to find our markup highlighter, and we're going to find our words that we're not quite understanding. So I'm going to select purple, and I'm going to go in and highlight what words I need to think about for vocabulary. Okay. So I see the word pondered. I see a vocabulary word transitory. I see a word aesthetic. contemplation, and commensurate. So these are the words we're going to go in for our vocabulary log, and we're going to go in there and look these up using our dictionary. We're going to probably look for synonyms, that words that are similar in meaning, so we can get a better understanding when we go back and read. Okay? So that is step one of our lesson.